Hello and welcome back to Joe's Metal Mancave vlog. Today we're going to do a collection update where we finished talking about the DSR order from a month or so ago. We have some ancient black metal demo tapes I got my hands on recently. And we even, believe it or not, we fucking got some new stuff to talk about. But before we get into it, we have to share a beer. So we are drinking Hunter here. This is a, what does that say? Double milkshake stout. My accent suddenly changed, sorry about that. So let's pour it in here and see what happens. I never had this before, I bet it's going to be very good. Ah, yeah, it's dark as fuck. Ah, look at that, people. Let's try that. Oh, that's good as fuck! Fuck yeah! Let's get into the music. And welcome back to Joe's Metal Mancave vlog. Hope you enjoyed the intro as a bit of a tribute to the Norwegian Black Cult channel here on YouTube. Perhaps some of you know it. If you don't know, it's a really great black metal channel. He shows all kinds of really obscure black metal stuff, and in all the videos, you just see his hands. So that's what was going on there in case you were really confused when you watched the beginning of this video. So to kick things off, we're actually gonna kind of start things on a sad note. Not really how I like to start these videos, but I want to kind of talk about my t-shirt here, or long sleeve, I guess. So this is a xenomorph, as you may or may not have already guessed. Big fan of the Aliens movies, specifically the first two. The artwork was done by a guy named Justin Barlett, who unfortunately passed away back on January 9th. Justin was a graphic designer, cover artist, and just a really big metal fan. About a year and a half ago or so, he got diagnosed with colon cancer, and well, he passed away. It kind of touched me I had never spoken to Justin before, and I had only seen a little bit of his artwork, but I really liked his artwork, and just because he was a graphic designer, because it was something I'd studied back in the past, his story felt a little bit closer to me, so I wanted to buy some of his artwork and just support him, and because I knew buying some of his artwork would, help support pay his medical bills and all that kind of stuff. But I bought this shirt literally 3 or 4 days before he passed away, and I just, I kind of, based on the pictures I seen of the guy, I kind of thought it was going to happen, but you always kind of have hope for people, but unfortunately passed away. So, yeah, hopefully, the money spent on this shirt, will go to his family to help pay for the funeral costs and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it was a really unique artist. Definitely look up his work. He did covers for and graphic design for, like, Cadaver, Aura Noir, Drake the Sunlight, Hooded Menace. Really cool, really unique artist, so definitely look it up. But anyway, to get that sad news out of the way, let's talk more about that DSR order I got back in early December, late November, I can't remember now. It's been a fucking minute. And for some reason it took 3 videos to show it all. So, 2 more things from that box that I got from DSR. And we're going to talk about Ragnarok and their debut album, Netferd. So Ragnarok, most people know this band nowadays as a high-speed black metal band, very comparable to Marduk's Ethereal, Immortal, Shooter, that kind of stuff. But on this earlier effort, which was originally released in 1995 by Had Not Fallen Records, was quite a bit different. So I first heard this album, certainly via some file sharing program, about 15 years ago. I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, the album was out of print and a bit hard to find even back then. So when this DSR tape reissue was announced, I was like, dude, I gotta fucking get that. Because this is an underrated Norwegian black metal classic, 100%. But what makes this album interesting is that it's quite different from the work that would come from Ragnarok later on. If I had to compare this to anything, I would compare it to the first Dimmu Borgir album, For All Tid, or Satyricons Dark Medieval Times. It just has a very similar pacing and has that raw chainsaw grim tone to the guitars, and has those sort of kind of hokey keyboards that were found on the first Dimmu Borgir album, which, yeah, they're hokey, but they're fun, and they're addictive. And not only that, the lyrics are a bit different from their later work. Later on, they just kind of centered on the blasphemy and the anti-Christianity. Here it's more Viking and pagan themed, and some really melodic guitars while still being black metal as fuck, and in a way kind of also comparable maybe to some of the early pioneering pagan Viking black metal bands, but just still very, very much run through that blackened filter. There's no, like, you know, grab your sword and raid the English lands or whatever kind of bullshit going on. It's black metal, man, and it's really, really good. Yeah, just fantastic vocals, phenomenal guitars, very catchy, very melodic, but with that very, you know, chainsaw, grim, raw tone to it. It's fucking great, man. So if you've overlooked this record, man, you owe it to yourself to get yourself a copy of this tape, because it's goddamn good. And it comes in this blue tape, which is great. Sounds great as well, of course, so that was good. A little J card here is, I'm assuming, a reproduction of the original CD booklet that I had not found. Interestingly, right after I bought this, I found that there was, in fact, a recent CD reissue of this album, and obviously in most cases I would prefer a CD, but you guys know that I have definitely changed my opinions of tapes in the past year or two, and goddamn, man, this is a really great album. So yeah, Ragnarok, Netflix. Continuing on, we're going to talk about artists that surely needs no introduction. An artist that I have admired for many, many years, and generally speaking, I have enjoyed just about everything he's put out. The artist in question is Burzum, and here we're going to be talking about his, at least for now, very last album, which is called Thulian Mysteries. Burzum, and this particular album, is basically a collection of all of the backing music that he used on his Thulian Perspective YouTube channel before YouTube banned him, because, yeah, I don't really know why they did, actually. Just silencing him because they didn't agree with his political beliefs, which, it's just the world we live in nowadays. But, I have had mixed feelings on the Burzum ambient work over the years. The ones he did in prison back in the late 90s, I think, are just... they're not good, man. Like, they're not terrible, because, I mean, you're talking to a guy here that literally listens to old video game music from the 80s and the 90s, so I get those albums, but they're just not particularly great. But when he released The Ways of Yore back in 2014, in particular one song called The Reckoning of Man, it really deeply resonated with me. I thought it was just an absolutely just beautifully composed, but yet still really simplistic but very atmospheric song. And that's what I like about Burzum and Varg's ambient work. It's very atmospheric while still being simple and repetitive, which is basically the basis for all of his music. This particular album is kind of a mishmash of things, but mostly ambient tracks, but then there's also some more kind of ritualistic and like acoustic folk songs. Many of them, if you watch the Thulian Perspective YouTube channel, you will recognize it. You know, if you like those backing tracks, then this is definitely something for you. So this was a unique find too, in that it's two cassette tapes basically in this oversized packaging. Yeah, so this will be fun to kind of store on my cassette shelf. This has been released, of course, on CD and LP, but it was just, I was making that DSR order, and I was like, fucking why not? If it's not good, then it's only on cassette, and I didn't pay as much as I would have for an LP or whatever. But I ended up really, really liking this. There's just, there's such a strong atmosphere in Varg's work, and there's this underlying emotion that it's just like, it's weird because, like, you know, everyone views him as like this ragey, evil racist or something like that, but I think it's really, he's just a man who has stifled a lot of his feelings, and really deep down inside, he's just a really kind of depressed character who, yeah, I don't know. I think it kind of comes out in his music. Although, of course, he would never admit that on any YouTube video or video in general. But that's just the vibe I get from him. I can pick up on it. There's this sort of underlying melancholy to him that he's just not gonna, he's always like gotta be a tough guy in all his videos, and I don't know. I guess he still does videos on some other streaming platform, and I don't know. Someone told me he's on Twitter as well and makes a bunch of crazy shit, but I don't know. I don't really care. I guess it's just the music. I don't care what he says. I don't care what his political agendas. I don't fucking care. It's about music, and I separate the art from the artist. And I am of the opinion that if you like simplistic but highly atmospheric music, you will definitely enjoy this. So yeah, here's a look at each tape, a black cassette for each one. A nice long album. It's about I don't know, maybe an hour and a half total, so quite a bit to absorb, but it's a good one to just kind of put on when you just want to chill. The first time I listened to this, I was having a few beers, just chilling and reading the book, and it really worked well. It's there are some lyrics here and there, of course, but it's mostly just, again, just simplicity, and just Varg kind of hailing Odin and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, but Varg dissolved Burzum, allegedly, kind of just before this album came out, and this is sort of like seemed to be the epitaph, I guess, but we'll see about that. I have a feeling that eventually he'll make more music. He's someone who's very creative, and I think the desire is going to come back to him. Maybe not more black metal, who knows, but I feel like he'll definitely make more music in the future. So yeah, if you like those really simple but atmospheric ambient compositions that Varg has done over there, you will definitely love this Thulian Mysteries. Alright, it took over a month, but we finally talked about all the contents in that DSR order I made back in, I don't know, late October or something. So continuing on, we have not one, but two Holy Grail items to talk about, and the fact that I found both of these for relatively cheap is fucking awesome. So the band in question here is the German pagan black metal band known as Hell, and their second demo, Gedanken und Erinnerung. Hell is a band that I've loved for many, many years. I originally discovered them back in I'd probably say 2000. There was this guy on eBay I used to buy CDs from all the time. He was a Greek guy. I'm guessing he had a distro or something, but he would list CDs, and they're all very affordable. They're always in that $6 to $8 range, and it was $8 for shipping. So it was a good value. I would just basically make a lot of blind purchases. And one of those blind purchases was the band's debut album from 1999, which is known as Orloeg. And I would continue to follow the band throughout the years. Volan Vorande was their second album, and then finally, and I believe it was 2010, they released their last album, which is called... I'm not prepared. Das Amen der Udid. Fuck my German, right? So anyway, Hell is a pagan black metal band, unquestionably influenced by Bathory, but not really sounding like Bathory. If I had to compare them to anything, especially the first album, it definitely sounds like the 90s output from Falkenbach, Mythotin, stuff like that, just 90s pagan black metal. I mean, if you know, you know. There was a special sound coming out of that, especially in Germany and stuff. There's a lot of bands that kind of had this sound. So many years ago, when Hell still had a proper website online, I saw this demo and I was like, man, I want to hear that someday, and I just could never find it. And then I've had it in my Discogs wish list for a couple of years now, and then, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it popped up for $20, and I was just like, oh, I'm buying it. I was like, holy fucking shit, dude. And so I bought it, and then this is a really, really good demo. Again, we're talking pagan black metal here, so you get a little bit of, a little more furious black metal, so intermingled with that sort of pagan, folky sound that was very popular in the late 90s. There's some cleanly sung vocals, there's some purely acoustic songs, but interesting thing about this demo is there's 2 songs that would have English lyrics, whereas everything the band created after this was all in German. I was really thrilled to get this because I wanted to hear it for so many years, and I just thought I never would, and I kind of figured it would never be re-released, so yeah. Really good stuff, though. I mean, it stands its ground as just being a solid. It's pretty long. It's like 35 minutes or whatever, so it's pretty long for a demo, and it's very professionally done and everything. And it's got this nice J card and everything. So definitely, I hope it made an impact back when it was originally released. Limited to just 100 copies, so pretty fucking cool to have this, and just Holy Grail I'm checked off the list, and relatively cheap too. So if you've never heard Hell, I mean, you're probably not going to find this demo very easily, but definitely look up their debut album, Ordlowig. It's what's playing in the background of this video, and it's really, really good. I love this album. It's nothing that's going to like blow your mind with originality, but it's just solid late 90s pagan black metal, and it's great. I love it. So, Hell. Gedanken und Erinnerung demo from 1995. Continuing on, we're going to talk about one more Holy Grail item, which I was lucky to find, and I got this item from the same seller that I got the Hell demo from. I don't know why I had to have it in this format, but I just a lot of the re-releases of this particular record are usually with a lot of bonus tracks, and it doesn't have the original cover art and so on and so forth. So I was like, I want to have the original. So the album in question here is Graveland, and their album In the Glare of Burning Churches. So In the Glare of Burning Churches is the band's 5th demo, originally released in 1993. It's also the first demo that featured Capricornus on drums. Previously, Rob Darkin had done everything by himself, and it's the first demo that's really, really good. The stuff that came before this is so-so, but the drum machine that Rob used was almost like industrial sounding in its ways. It just, not for me. But this is the first really proper demo from Graveland. It's fucking incredible. What I love about this demo is it is just so hate-filled sounding. Just raw, grim, and evil sounding. Just unbelievable, like, raw rehearsal production, and with some very creepy atmospheric keyboards, and just Rob's vocals are just, the guy is just such a unique voice, and so hateful, and just unbelievable. And yes, I know Capricornus isn't by any means the best drummer out there, but he's better than a drum machine, and this was the first demo that really, I think, made a statement in the Polish scene, and this is pretty iconic stuff. This isn't the original first press. The original first pressing was a self-release by the band, but this is Witching Hour Productions' re-release of it, which came in 1993, a few months after the band originally re-released it. So this is the earliest actual label release of this album, so that's, or demo, so it's pretty fucking cool. Now, fun fact for you, Witching Hour Productions is actually owned by the guy that does the Batushka band all these years later. He's been involved in the scene for many, many years, and I'm not really a fan of Batushka, but hell, I give this guy credit for being involved in the scene and releasing old gems like this back in the day. But yeah, just, this album is so raw and so ugly, but just, if you like that early Polish scene, this is mandatory stuff. And again, this has been re-released so many times. You can get it on tape, CD, vinyl, but again, it always kind of comes with a lot of bonus tracks, which kind of, once you get to the other bonus tracks, kind of distracts from the the overall feel of this. This whole demo is just a little over 20 minutes long, and it's perfect length. You get some, the intro is like this weird, this has this sort of weird pagan folk music playing while there's a fire, and I guess it's supposed to symbolize a Christian burning at the stake or something like that, I guess. I don't know, but that's how the demo kicks off. Pretty classic stuff, and there's a few other ambient tracks and moments in this demo, but just phenomenal stuff, man. Really, really good. So, the tape here, I'm gonna have to assume is just this original tape here with no special labels writing on it. And there's a very simplistic J card. Noticeably, Rob Darkin refers to himself as Robert Fudali here, which is his real name. I think it wouldn't be until Carpathian Wolf said he would actually adopt the Rob Darkin moniker. So, really cool. But yeah, total Holy Grail, and I found this one at $15, so that was pretty fucking cool, man. So, yeah, if you've never heard this and you like Polish black metal, this is essential stuff. Graveland, In the Glare of Burning Churches. Alright, we got two more to talk about for this collection update. Now we're going to go all the way back to 1990 and talk about the New York-based death doom metal band known as Winter and their album Into Darkness and Eternal Frost. So I first became aware of Winter back in I'd probably say about 2012. I was by a buddy's house. We were watching some music videos on basically some CDRs and stuff. I had some videos I had downloaded years and years ago, and then put them on CDRs, and we were just watching them, getting drunk, that kind of shit. And then we ran out of CDRs to watch, and he's like, "Should I get the VHS player out and play some old VHS tapes?" So I was like, "Fuck yeah, you should." So he had a nuclear blast video from, I don't know, I guess early 90s. I think it was called Death Is Just the Beginning. And on that video was a video for Winter's, I believe it was for the song Servants of the Warsmen. And I was like, what the fuck is this? How have I not heard this? And then I was just shocked to find out that this album had come out in 1990. So back in 2012, I picked up the Southern Lord reissue of this album, which was just the Into Darkness and not the Eternal Frost EP, and I absolutely love the album. I mean, it's basically the first Death Doom album as I knew it, although just recently in my video from last week, someone brought to attention a band that actually had an album that was Death Doom style even a year before, so that's something I'm going to kind of hunt down. But I really enjoyed the album. It's different though in that it's not really... There's not like some sort of catchy song or a song that really sort of bounces out at you. No, it's just this whole oppressive, dark mood throughout this record, and it's fucking great, man. I love this record. It's a challenging listening, but you know, all like kind of pioneers of a certain style of music, it often is challenging. It's not something that's going to immediately click. So if you've ever heard this album and you're just like, no, I'll stick to my Dying Brighter Anathema. Nah, man, go back, give it a second chance. It's a good fucking record, man. So eventually, for reasons, well, the reason I eventually sold that Southern Lord reissue is I became aware of this version, which gathers together the first album and the Eternal Frost EP, which is basically the bulk of what the band released other than the demo tape. And I wanted to get this version back then, so I sold that version, then I just never bought this version. But then as luck would have it, I was recently at a recent record store, a local record store, sorry, and they had this album for $10, and I was like, well, fuck yeah, finally. It took fucking like 10 years, but here we go. So, fuck yeah, man. So, Winter, yeah, man, this is just oppressive, heavy death doom, and man, for a record that was released in 1990, I mean, there wasn't a lot of stuff back then sounded like this. I mean, this was unique stuff, and the band broke up by 1992, and then it was probably around that like kind of 92, 93 time frame when bands like My Dying Bride, Anathema, Paradise Lost, and even Catatonia were kind of, you know, getting going and really kind of making a statement in that scene. And, you know, those bands are often regarded as the legends, but don't overlook Winter, because they're kind of the one that started it all, and this is just a phenomenal album, man. It's challenging and it's different, but it's really, really good. Yeah, man. You know, everyone wants to always say, too, that, like, you know, most of the more eccentric forms of heavy metal came from Europe or whatever, but nah, I think that Doom definitely has its origins here in the USA, and if you've overlooked this album, just give it a shot, man. Great stuff. So yeah, Winter, Into Darkness, and Eternal Frost. Alright, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this collection update. We have one more to talk about, and it's something new for a change. What the fuck is going on? I don't know. So we're going to talk about Ages and their debut album, The Malefic Miasma. So Ages, this is a band that when they first sprang to life, I was absolutely thrilled. And the reason for that is because two of the members of this band came from a band known as Mancave, who later on changed their name to Evangeli. Magog was a Swedish Viking folk black metal band, and in the early 2000s they released some phenomenal demos that to this day I absolutely loved. I mean, I've uploaded their demos to this channel and I think they're great. If you didn't listen to them, go back and check them out. They're really, really good. And then around like 2005, I think it was, the band changed their name to Evangeli. They released one single live album DVD, and then the band broke up shortly thereafter. The members went on to a lot of different bands, some thrash and death metal stuff, but it wasn't until 2015 that this album came out, and the band two of the members returned to playing black metal. And I was absolutely stoked, because this is pretty much what I would have expected Magog to sound like had they recorded a full-length album. What we're dealing here with is basically epic black metal. If I had to compare this to something, it's definitely got like a bit of a Moonsarl influence, but It's the later period, Moonstar also, the sort of dark, epic black metal they've been doing for like the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years or so now, but definitely more in that style, it's just very, very epic. I mean, the production is very clean, it's very melodic, but it's just so goddamn good. I mean, this is just epic stuff, man, triumphant and just very grand sounding. I mean, some acoustic guitars, just some samples, some cleanly sung vocals. It's really, really good album, and I was just thrilled to finally get this in my collection. I don't really know why I sat on it for so long, because, like I said, 2015, but yeah, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I'm just, we'll see how I update with new releases. So, there's the front cover. There's also, like, some occasional folk moments in this, but it's definitely, it definitely still is within that black metal filter, it's not like Fintroll, or it's not all hobbity or whatever, it's a very dark album, I like it. So it's released by Sound Pollution and Black Lodge Records. Sound Pollution is a record store actually in Stockholm, Sweden. I visited that back in 2012, a decent record store. Front cover, pictures and lyrics of the band. But yeah, man, if you're into epic black metal, man, this is an album well worth hunting down. It is really, really good. I mean, as far as favorites, I love the first song, At the Behest of Reason, Spawn of the Tyrants, Mountains of Blaze. It's really good. There's some keyboards here and there too. It's a really good album, man. So, I actually picked up the more recent album from this band as well, but we'll talk about that in another collection, because I still need to give it a few more spins. I had kind of listened to this album a couple times digitally or streamed or whatever, so I was kind of more familiar with this, but really, really good album. Just, yeah, man, epic black metal, and I don't want to necessarily call it Viking black metal, because the lyrics don't really center around those Viking themes per se. So yeah, guys, thank you once again for joining me here on Joe's Metal Man Cave. Hope you had a good time. Hope you, discovered some new bands, or just enjoyed what you saw. So, fuck yeah, man. Appreciate everyone that's been subscribing, checking out these videos, and I'll see you next time. My name is Joe.